So, but it's all together. The components are all in there. Of course, you can't really see it because the light's not on. Everything's in here. CPU fans on. It just all looks real good. So we're gonna go ahead and power it up. See what she does. Turn the power switch on back here, and let's see what we can do. Now I don't have my screen capture on, or I don't even have the card yet. It's not here yet, so I'm just going to be videotaping the screen. Let's hope something comes up here. And there it is. Okay, cool. So we're in the MSI BIOS here, and that's actually the latest BIOS. That's this is good. Yeah. Very good. So let's see here. Got settings, overclocking, which I'm not going to do. Updating the flash, which I don't need to do because that is the latest BIOS. Let's see what we got here for hardware monitor. Got some temperatures down here, 32C, 30C. So this is all good. Okay, so the next step here is to just pop the SATA drive out of the old PC and put it in this one. See what it does. See if it boots Windows. It'll try to boot, and then it'll do a bunch of reconfiguration, and hopefully finally it'll work. Okay, I've got our SATA drive in here. I pulled it out of the old computer there. Slipped off that side panel. And now we're going to power up and see what Windows does. This ought to be interesting. Sorry I don't have a capture card, but well, Windows is loading. It's a good sign. I think it's going to barf a couple of times here. Windows is still trying to figure itself out here. Oh, look at that. That didn't take long at all. That's my Zebra. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so now I need to actually flash this drive onto my drive that's inside the computer they put in, the EVO NVMe M2 drive. So let's see if we can do that. Source drive is that, target drive is my EVO Plus. Actually, before we do this, I think I'm going to close the case up. I'm a little worried about the temperature, so let me do that real quick. Okay, the cloning process has started. It's zooming along at 189 megabytes per second. So that's kind of nice right there. 190 megabytes per second. So it's cruising along pretty good. So the next step is to reboot after go into the BIOS and make sure that the EVO or 970 is the boot device and not the 860. Okay, well, I'm all done. The new machine is in its location right there, whizzing away. When I put the old SSD into the new hardware, Windows immediately figured it all out and came up no problem. And then I cloned that SSD, the old SSD, to the new NVMe drive that was inside the computer, and I rebooted again. But it kept booting to the SSD and not the M2, SSD, the new one. And even though I went in the BIOS, I changed the boot order or the boot priority, and told it which drive to be number 1, and it still would boot to the old one. So I ended up disconnecting the old one, and then I would boot to, with no problem at all, to the brand new cloned NVMe drive. There was no issues there. However, no matter what I did, if I shut it down and plugged that drive back in and changed BIOS settings or whatever and booted it up again, that old SSD would be the operating system and not the new one. So, not good. So what I ended up doing was changing the SATA slot in the BIOS for that SSD, the old SSD, to hot swappable. So I booted up the machine, and then after the machine was booted up on the new NVMe drive, which it did no problem, I would then plug in the SATA cable for the old SSD so I could clean it and wipe it off. And that's what I ended up doing. I plug it in. It came up but said it was offline because of a signature mismatch or a conflict, which is true because it was a clone drive. And then I ended up removing the volume completely and formatting the drive. And now I have, and then when I rebooted, of course it's rebooting with the only drive that has an operating system now. And that worked out great. So now I have the 1 terabyte operating system drive, which is a C drive, has all the programs on it, and I have a D drive with 900 gigs available to start using. So what I'm going to do is get another one of those drives, I think, and put a RAID together, a RAID 1 configuration, and that way all the song files can go on it. I don't have to worry about backing it up off the line. It only cost me an extra $100. I do have a server here, and it, I do put all my song files there. But if I have a RAID inside this machine, then I won't have to worry about that. I can just put the song files to the RAID as the working directory for the, the product files, and that will be what I use. Should still be quick and fast, and if one of the SSDs goes down, the other one will still have all the data. So that's the benefit of having a RAID 1. All right, so what's next? Well, next is I have to bring up Studio One to get its licensing all squared away, because it's going to start complaining soon as it comes up. It's going to go, "Wah!" And I hopefully, well, I'm going to make another video because I'm running out of time here. I'm going to make another video on that, so you'll see that on the next one. So until then, enjoy. Thanks for watching, and please hit the subscribe button and give me a like if you like what you saw today. And that's going to do it for me. So sayonara.